I'm Gemma Seltzer and I'm thrilled to be here today making this video for First Story. I write short fiction and I run Write and Shine, a programme of very early morning writing events and online courses. That's a hint that I absolutely love mornings. I think they're the very best part of the day. They're the best time to write and to dream and to be creative. I've been known to leap out of bed in the morning and I often just can't wait to start the day. I really like to be awake before everybody else, to look out the window and just think about what the day will hold. I wonder how you feel about mornings and whether we can try and capture them in a new piece of writing today. I think everybody will be on a spectrum when it comes to mornings. You might be like author Toni Morrison, who woke up at 5 a.m. every day to write. She always made a cup of coffee while it was still dark and watched the light come. It was important for her to be there just as the light arrived, a sort of ritual, letting the light wash over her and feeling the day open up. She said it enabled her creatively. You might be at the other end of that spectrum, and much like the night owl Neil Gaiman, he says, as far as I'm concerned, the entire reason for being a writer is not having to get up in the morning. So I wonder where you fit on that spectrum. And today I'm going to guide you through a set of short writing prompts to create some material all about mornings that you can then work with, and I'll leave you after the video to pull it all together and polish it up. Before I do, let me just share a couple of examples how other writers that I love have talked about mornings. The US poet Billy Collins has a poem actually called Morning, and it opens with the line, "Why do we bother with the rest of the day?" He goes on to say, "This is the best," throwing off the covers, feet on the cold floor, and buzzing around the house on espresso. There's so much energy and rhythm in those lines. It really captures his joy about that first part of the day. He ends with a final image about looking out the window and the lawn is steaming like a horse. I love that sort of breathing, expectant, magical quality about that time of day. For others, morning is less about birdsong and joy. It's not really a wonderful time of day. The sound of the alarm will send a sinking feeling right through their body. The poet Charles Bukowski has a poem in which he says, "Sunlight, any sign of sunlight is clearly trouble." And there's another poem that I really love by Catherine Gallagher. It's called The Year of the Tree. And it begins with a very surreal scenario. She says, "I carried a tree through the underground." And she describes lugging that oak tree all along the platforms. "It's heavier than a suitcase and difficult to balance," she says. So that poem isn't quite about mornings, but I feel it captures something really specific about that feeling, that weight of the day, trying to get moving. So I want you to think about the morning you're in right now. If it's slightly later in the day, just think about earlier this morning. And I want you to write an answer to each of these 7 questions that I pose for you. Write freely, write quickly, don't pay any attention to grammar, punctuation, just keep your pen moving. And before we begin, maybe put your feet right on the ground and feather your nest, just get comfortable. And as I say, I've got 7 questions. I'll pose them to you now and write just for sort of 15 seconds on each of these questions. So, if this morning was a taste, what taste would it be? Okay, and if this morning was a smell, if it was a smell, what smell would it be? And if this morning was a touch on your skin, how would it feel? And next one, if this morning was a place, what kind of place would it be? If this morning was a colour, what colour would it be? And this is the last one. If this morning was a sound, if it was a sound, what sound would it be? Great, great. So I'm going to leave that with you. Perhaps you'd like to keep writing. Perhaps you'd like to keep writing in response to those prompts. You can do that for as long as you like. The idea really is just to keep the pen moving, keep it moving and see what comes up for you. Then after that, your task is to mash and merge and jigsaw all those ideas together to create a new piece of writing. Maybe it's a poem, maybe it's a story with a character you create, maybe it's just some personal writing where you capture this sense of your morning. I've got 2 tips for you. The first is just to relax. This should be enjoyable. There's no right or wrong way of writing at all. The second is to keep writing and keep editing until you feel something. It might be a spark, it might be a click, it might be a laugh, just a smile. I think you want to feel something in your body, in your heart, or in your mind. If you feel something, then it's likely that your reader will do so as well. So good luck, happy writing, and here's to bright and brilliant, inspiring mornings. Thank you.